What's that, darling? You're going to have to speak up. I didn't quite get that. You were muttering. You think I'm a bit of a Afternoon, ladies. How are... What? What's going on here? What is this insurrection and jibber-jabber between you all? No, Simba, my love. It was an accident. And we'll take a good look at you in a minute and we'll see what we can do to fix you up with a bit of tape or something. No, I'm joking. Whoa, calm down, ladies. I'm joking. We will fix you, Simba, I promise you. No, Phoenix, my love, that is not inevitable, but that will happen to you. Or you, Ali Bird. And as for you, you can keep quiet, you haven't even got a name yet. It was an accident, and, you know, I've got a hurt wrist, and I needed to see whether I could fly you before flying one of the big girls. Big girls need love too. Hello, legends and choppers and heli heads and twizzle, whizzle, thumb, stick bangers and lovers of all things rotors. It's a sad, sad day. But inevitable, I'm afraid, when it comes to flying radio-controlled helicopters. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And even the most experienced of helicopter pilots will pile in, just like I did yesterday with Simba. Now, why did it happen? Well, the good thing is that it is a thumb's mistake. In other words, the reasons why Simba went into the ground was down to me. It wasn't down to the mechanics or the electronics or anything else. And I've always said, and I'm sure many of you are in agreement, that all the time it's a thumb's mistake. Well, fair play, so be it. We live and we learn and we move on. It's when it's a mechanical or electrical problem, that's when really nothing annoys us more. But if it's a thumb's mistake, if it's down to you, take ownership, get on and fix it. Now, unfortunately, I've got a wrist injury. I've trapped a nerve in my hand, and so I've lost the strength in my hand, which of course, when it comes to flying radio-controlled helicopters, is not actually a good thing. Now, it's getting better. It's getting better. But yesterday I thought to myself, I'll fly Simba, and if I can fly Simba with the old thumb movement, then I'll be all right with the bigger girls. But, you know, it was just too, well, let's just say I wasn't dexterous enough in the thumb, and I found it quite difficult. And the end result is, well, you know, as Simba is now. Now, this is a bit of a pain in the arse, to be honest with you. I haven't been able to make a cup of tea or do basic things, do my buttons up on my shirt, have a But the good news, legends, is that my hand is now starting to get some feeling and strength back in it, and I can at least lift my hand off of a table now like that, and I couldn't do that a few days ago. So this is getting better. But in this video, it's not some form of doctor's appointment. In this video, we're going to find out exactly how much it's going to cost us to put Simba back in the air, which is an area I feel that is not covered that well, to be honest with you, in our hobby. Crashing a helicopter, I'm afraid, is a question of when rather than if, and the more experienced you are, the greater the delta between each when. But it is inevitable, it does happen. So in this video, we're going to find out exactly how much it's going to cost us to put Simba back in the air. Okay, let's do a bit of battlefield damage assessment on Simba. Sorry, sweetie. Well, first of all, you can see that the fuselage is broken at the tail here. This is carbon fibre, and the boom inside is also broken. When this hit the ground, this pretty much exploded. You know, I thought, crikey, a lot less damage than I thought there was going to be. So a new fuselage is going to be needed. It comes as a kit. You can see up there, top right-hand corner, pimp up my blade, where we fitted this fuselage. Simba will need a new fuselage, which, as we know, is a French word because no word in the English dictionary could be that beautiful. Fuselage. A new tail boom inside the fuselage, and At the back here, a new set of tail rotors. The main gear has been stripped by the motor pinion, so the main gear will need to be replaced. The drop links, which are just plastic links on the 230S, from the main blade grips down to the swash, they are bent, so we'll replace them. The feathering shaft, thankfully, is perfectly fine, so we'll leave the feathering shaft as it is, and crucially, the blades are okay as well, so they'll stay where they are. The frame is okay, the landing gear is okay, which is unusual. So, in summary, a new fuselage kit for Simba, a new tail boom, a new rear rotor blades, some new drop links from the main blade grips, and a new main gear. And that's it. That's all we need to get. But how much is that going to cost? And that's what we're going to find out now.
Now, to get Simba back up in the air, we're going to be getting all of our spare parts from Midland Helicopters in Hinckley in Leicestershire. Midland Helicopters, run by Trevor and his team there, are a long-standing provider in the UK of the radio-controlled hobby and do a really great range of radio-controlled helicopters, drones, planes, cars and so on. But crucially, really good set of spares for the 230S. The radio control hobby is pretty niche, so I like to support the providers in the UK by going to each of them for a sort of bunch of spares that I may need, and as I've said, in this case it's going to be Midland Helicopters. But for my Align Trex models and so on, I like to use Align Trex models, link in the description below, run by Raj and his team, and exceptionally helpful, and I've dealt with them a lot over the years. And also Hely-Shop, run by Alessio, is also another really good place to get all of your spare parts from. Again, links in the description below. Right, let's go shopping. Okay then, starting from the back of Simba, we need some new carbon fibre blades. As we saw, Simba has got a broken boom, so we're going to need to replace that. Now, we can't just buy the boom separately, we need to buy the whole fuselage. So here we can see the carbon fibre fuselage. The Midland Helicopters do lots of really good fuselages for the 230S, but the majority of them are fiberglass, and had I had a fiberglass fuselage on Simba when I accidentally piled her into the ground, she would have exploded into a million pieces. The carbon fibre fuselage really did protect the frame and so on, so I'm going to stick with carbon fibre. The tail boom inside the main fuselage boom was broken, so we're going to need to replace that. As we know, the main gear was stripped, so we're going to need a new main gear. And a top tip for you is that there really is no need to get the more expensive main gear. A lot of people do. There really is no need for that. The main gear, which comes as standard, is perfectly acceptable. Next, of course, is the main rotor head linkage. Although Simbas were only bent, it's not wise to reuse them after a crash, so add to cart. Now, although I know that the main shaft isn't bent in Simba, the tolerances are micro, and so whilst it might not seem bent, it's likely that it probably is. So because we're replacing the main gear, it's wise to replace the main shaft. Scores on the doors, Miss Ford. For those of you who are over 50, you'll get it. For those of you who are under, you won't. £139.45. And I think you'll agree that's a fair amount of money for a small helicopter. But it's not just a standard 230S, is it? We put that carbon fibre fuselage on, and of course those carbon fibre blades at the back. But the bottom line is £139.45 to get Simba back in the air.
So there we go, legends. Did that surprise you or not? That's how much it's going to cost us to be able to put Simba back in the air. A little helicopter, but it's going to cost us a fair amount. Now imagine that. Had that been Phoenix or had that been Ali Bird here, the cost would be much more greater than that. And yet I think you'll agree, for a small helicopter, that the cost to put Simba in the air is still fairly significant. The radio controlled helicopter hobby is fantastic, but it does have a cost, and that cost is time, effort, energy, maintenance of motivation, and I'm afraid money. whilst you can buy radio controlled helicopters that are hobby grade for a couple of few quid, tenner or so, when they crash, and that's it, you can't repair them. And what's great about this hobby is that we really can rebuild from the ground up. Till the next video then, take care, bye bye.